Hey, grateful day, everyone. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about how can you in your business plan from your genius zone so that you are maximizing your energy and your time. And so if you really want to hone in this year on being more focused, being more intentional, and showing up in your business to maximize your results, maximize your revenue, while also designing a life first business, stay tuned. Hey, grateful day, y'all. Welcome back. My name is Dr. TK. And so, first of all, if you are new here, welcome. Happy New Year. And I am a clinical psychologist, therapist, business coach. And I also like to see myself as more of a empowerment coach as well. And what that means is that I really focus on how you can maximize your time to live and build out the life of your dreams, especially if you are a mom, you are a wife, you have a job, maybe you are a stay at home mom, or maybe like myself, you are a work from home mom. And let's be real, time feels like it is just going by so fast. And so this is part two of a multi-part series that I am actually doing as part of our In Her Collective community, full of women that are service providers in their home and in their business. And they really want to get a hold of their life back. So just to reference part one, but I will recommend it and link it below. Part one, we really focused on you designing a personal schedule that fits with your desires and your goals, which really required you to block out time for yourself first, because let's be real, that is hard. Okay. Now, in part two, we are really going to zero in on what is your genius zone and then where can you have the most impact for your work so that you can show up as your best self, of course, in other parts of your life outside of work and business. So, again, our whole goal is to maximize your time, not work more, not be overwhelmed. Okay. So I want to start off with reality to set the frame. And what I'm going to be doing in this part is letting you um, more behind the scenes of what it takes for me to set up my day so that I can operate in my zone that best works for me and my business. And so I am a mom that works from home. You may have seen that online. We typically see like stay at home moms, like SAHM. But there's also something, Google it, that's called work from home moms. And this totally increased back in 2020. And then, we didn't think it was going to last as long until people like myself chose to continue to work from home. And then, unlike last year, in which at least I was out the house 1 to 2 days a month, if not more, doing workshops. A lot of the workshops that I started doing in person actually shifted to online because my schedule was more flexible if we could do online because it removes drive time. And then, of course, the agencies that I work with liked it. So they just continued to stay online. And of course, that has its pros and it has its cons. But let's talk about how do you set the tone with whether you are working from home, you are a mom working from home, part-time or full-time. And so aside from, of course, being a mom who works from home, I am a CEO in which I run a coaching business and a mental health business. And my schedule every day, let alone every week, can fluctuate, including my kids' school schedules, my energy levels, and of course, every month, seasons of life that I go through because I'm human. And so, what that means is that some days are very much full days in terms of me working from home. And then there are some days that are considered more half days. And then there are some days that require me or I require of myself to get things done in which I will work in split shifts. And so I hope that by me sharing even the differences in the schedules that I have for myself will allow you to give yourself some grace and that every single day, if we're talking about routine, does not have to look exactly the same, but maybe how you choose to show up and structure those days look the same. Okay. So now let's shift into your natural energy pattern. So, what I want you to do as I share my pattern, I want you to think about what your pattern has been just for this week or this month alone. So, right now, I have a schedule that has been set up since around 2023 with my husband and mine, and that I have recognized that the mornings are most productive for my energy, setting the tone for my mood and execution in terms of what I structure throughout my day for my business. Okay. So, this is a breakdown of my general schedule. In the morning, I can start as early as waking up at 6. I might click, the little snooze button, and then I might wake up at 6:15, 6:30. At the end of the day, the way our household is set up is that our school for our youngest child is right up the street. Our eldest is miles away. And so on days where we just need to get the little one to school, is my husband will walk him to school on, let's just say, 4 out of the 5 days, and then I will walk him to school on that other day, okay? But in the midst of my husband taking him to school, I choose to spend mornings going to the gym. So the gym is my mental health space where I'm not doing rigorous workout routines all the time in terms of like strength training, but instead I might just go to get out the house, to just walk on a treadmill that's not mine, to get some sunlight. So it does depend on your climate. I know we're fortunate enough to actually have a gym in the community that we actually live in. But outside of the gym, I also carve out my mornings for spiritual development, personal development. I habit stack. So, habit stack is when you may do more than one thing at a time, but keep in mind, you should only stack things in which are going to be the most productive. So, if I am walking on a treadmill, that gives me free up with my hands to take notes on my phone if I need to listen to something very empowering, including educational material. If I'm lifting weights, I don't want to be in a gym for a longer period of time than what I need to. So I need to be very intentional to not listen to something that's going to require notes. And if I don't know if it's going to require me to take notes, like listening to an audiobook, a podcast, or a YouTube video, once I start noticing it's shifting with me taking notes, I need to take note of that video and watch it later that day when I can actually sit down and take full notes. Okay. But at the end of the day, I'm doing spiritual development, personal development, and I'm also gaining mental clarity so that I can get focused on what should I be doing that day. Now, keep in mind too, you can also do this the night before in terms of setting up intentional goals for yourself. 1, 2, or maximum 3 that will take up all of your time for the upcoming day. But I've noticed in this season of my life, my meaning evenings, which I'll go over, are very meaningful for me in terms of how I carve out time for my family. And so I just choose to set aside time in the morning to do it. Now, because I do start my mornings fairly early, my work time actually starts as soon as I come home from the gym. So on most days, my morning can be starting at 9 because there are some coaching programs that I offer in which that has been the time that we meet throughout the whole year. And it was established when we first started it. And I don't want to ruffle the schedule, like ruffle any feathers. But then there are some programs that I have where it allows me to change my schedule throughout the year based on the cohorts of clients that come in. So about 2 years ago, I decided after paying attention to my schedule that I'm the most productive and I'm not rushing to get dressed if I actually can start at 10 a.m. versus 9 a.m. with my clients. Okay. So ultimately, the morning is my gym, my development and clarity time, journaling time, prayer time, and also it gives me a space to basically brain dump. Okay. Now, after that, I go straight into execution if I hadn't already started before 10, because sometimes I'm still in my gym clothes to be all the way real. And I'm on my laptop at the kitchen table and I'm just typing away, brain dumping, and even creating things because I go into a creative space once I have left the gym. So now it's time for me to execute. And that is when, if you want to box it out in categories, around 10 o'clock, I will start executing more. I will take that time to record any videos because no one is at my home like right now. I will go into a state of content creation. So let's just say going from the gym, I may talk text, like talk to my phone, out my thoughts, organize my social media post or the email that I want to send. I may upload it to Google to go through like a spell check kind of thing. I may even put it in Chat GPT to say, hey, this is what I wrote. It feels not in order. This is the flow that I wanted to go in. Can you also check for simple grammatical errors, but please do not change my tone. Please do not change my wording. But make it flow for an email, I will then upload it and it will give it to me like back in 5 seconds, right? But it's my intellectual property. That is key. And so that expedites my morning. And then what I do from there, if I'm doing that walking and stuff like that, when I'm now at my laptop, I can assign it to a team member, or if it's something that I publish myself, like social media, then I will upload my social media post or I will schedule it to, be uploaded throughout the day. So that's content creation that also includes videos, podcasts, etc. Now, also during that early morning, midday time, I'm also making decisions of things that need to move the needle in my business. So that's the gist of my mornings in terms of category, from personal self care to execution and some of the things that I do during that time, in addition to serving my clients, doing coaching, doing any virtual workshops, or maybe even going into the community and doing something during those times. Okay. Now, there are certain days of the week that if you're a parent, some districts have at the same time every week a early dismissal day. And so that has to shift me working on particular things in my business to a different time, because now let's just say if one kid gets out at 11:45 and the other kid gets out at 1 o'clock. Well, now I need to shift how I start my morning so I can make a choice. I can say, okay, that's the day that I'm going to choose to walk on the treadmill only 30 minutes and I'm out in home or at the gym. I just know that if I go to the gym, it requires maybe different clothing versus in my house. If it's cold, I can wear shorts. If I'm going out, these are a lot of decisions we got to make. Then I will go outside my house. So this is why I say sometimes your schedule may start at night, because that's going to be the day that you are going to walk in to. But at the end of the day, what I am doing in my business does not change. It's just that the time that I'm allotted to do it changes. And this is something that I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs sit down and think about. And then you look up and you out of time. Like, you only got 2 hours. So why would you schedule yourself a big project during that time, knowing that you're not going to finish, or at least go into the project knowing you're only going to complete step 1 and step 2, and step 3, 4, 5, and 6 are not going to be completed until later. Now, my later, depending on my household setup, what help I have with my son, or if I'm by myself, how much homework he has, I will then move myself into a split shift. I find in this season of life that I get another level of energy around 5 p.m. Now, unless my kids have practice or something like that, my son now can go outside with me checking on him outside by himself or with friends or with the neighbors, or I'll set up my stuff on the patio or in the garage and watch him play. But I will base my activities on what else can I do during that split shift. So during that evening shift, I'm usually not recording. It's not well lit, but I may be doing something around content creation, scheduling posts, creating emails, marketing, catching up with my clients, sending over voice notes in Telegram with clients, and things like that. Okay. So again, those mini half-day sessions, they're short, focused, but it's a burst of energy because I am very intentional with how I'm showing up, because I know that that's my schedule and it's not going to change for the whole school year as a work from home or just a mom, right? So in terms of working on your genius zone, this is a rule of thumb that I practice, okay? Is that my genius zone is what requires my voice and or my face. That is your genius zone. Everything else, to be honest, is busy work. Now, I'm not saying that when you first start a business or a new stream of income that you're not going to be doing other things, but it will require your voice and your face because you have no one else to give it to. So think about it that way. But over time, as you ideally develop systems, you hire an admin or someone on your team that can help you with the busy work, the customer service work, the checking your emails work. You no longer need to do that. Okay. Even with household chores, you might need to sort your laundry, but you don't need to be sitting there watching it wash. While there's a clock at 45 minutes for the washer or the dryer, spend that 45 minutes going to do something or having a session or doing something in your business. Okay. So let me now take you more behind the scenes, and I'm going to give you some more specific details around some of the things that I mentioned in terms of my genius zone. So on most days, what a typical day looks like I said, the morning is for spiritual grounding mindset, and my genius zone starts really, really early. Now, what I want to hyper focus on is what I do during that time. It's called high focus work first. Okay. The reason, and this is only, I'm gonna say, if you're an early, energetic morning person, you may be a night owl. So you're just gonna flip what I say. So if you're an early morning person, you want to focus on things that are gonna require your brain to really, really focus during that time, because as the day minutes go on, your brain energy is going to decrease. And so for myself, I'm going to look at what activities does my brain need to do that would need my highest attention. For me, it is talking out my thoughts related to curating content and also designing things. It's the creativity. Responding to clients that have me one-on-one actually can wait to after I do homework with my son, because I'm more in a lax state. And all I need is my phone and a quiet space to respond. Now, with that in mind, because you are hyper focused, you do want to create a hard stop time so that your brain knows when to stop. So that if you do need to rev up for the next day, clearly, or rev up for your split shift in the evening, you don't feel exhausted. And I'm just going to insert this too as a mom. I don't like when my son comes home from school and I'm exhausted because I didn't do my job of giving myself a hard stop time. So this is what I'm not doing during that time that is not in my genius zone. I am not doing simple administrative work. I'm not doing low level energy tasks where I am in my peak time. So stop the busy work. And maybe a better way for you to like pump the brakes is say, is this making me money right now? Is this going to lead to me making money right now? Or is this just keeping me busy? Or what one of my clients highlighted, and she'll know who she is when she hears this, is this helping me avoid something that I actually need to be doing? Because I have a lot of clients who outright do that. They may not be intuitive to say that, but that is actually what is happening. Now I'm going to take you behind the curtain of what those half days look like for early school pickup, or maybe you have a doctor's appointment. Whatever it is that requires you to only work, you only got 2 hours a day, or maybe you had a 9 to 5 job and you only have 5 to 7 p.m. to get things done. You have what's now called a compressed genius zone window. So you really got to eliminate non-essential tasks. So again, only do task or work that requires your voice, like a podcast, face to face camera work, like video or a client, and revenue driving work. So, this can include activities of working on or in your business, but they are generating either great client or customer support and success, and or they're driving revenue. Everything else needs to wait and or be delegated. So what lives in my genius zone? Content creation, social media strategy, YouTube and podcast planning, the actual recording, anything again. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this, but I hope that by me saying it probably for the third time, you will get it. These are things that require my voice, my face, and other area is my expertise, meaning someone else on my team does not know how to do it, nor can they do it. Also, what takes up my time is in my level of expertise, for me, coaching calls, therapy sessions, one on one coaching, workshops. Now, let's speak about that schedule during these time spans. Let's just say if I go from 9 to 12:30, I should be very mindful of how many calls to protect my time and my energy. How many calls can I thrive in at my highest peak performance back to back and in one day? Those are two different things. So, some of this you will learn by doing. What I've learned doing face to face work, meaning in an office, is that if it's individual therapy, it also depends on what type of clients, what is their diagnoses, how do they present in session? Is it dry? Is it slow? Are they crying? Are they excited? Are they angry? All of that matters because their energy is going to automatically spill on me. And I need to know with the 2 to 3 people that I'm seeing after them, will my level of energy be drained where I need longer than 15 minutes to recoup? You want to consider that. When I'm in the community and I'm doing in-person workshops, all I need is 15 minutes to have a cereal bar and a drink, and I can actually go straight into a 90-minute session, but I'm also curating what topics I'm talking about, and those are more interactive, so I don't feel like I'm by myself. In total, those can be 3 hours, but I'm fine, but they need to start at 9 or 9:30, and I need to be done by 1:30. After that, my energy is like, and I also have to drive home. That's something I need to consider. So, also, what you want to keep in mind is any other activities that might get a hold of your attention. Like, ask yourself, should I be doing this or should it be delegated or do I need to eliminate it altogether? So, you want to be mindful of how many calls or workshops or sessions or client based activities can you do back to back and in one day, because you don't have to squeeze everything all in one day unless you literally, I guess, your schedule says that you have to. But then I would say if somebody has a 9 to 5 job and they trying to squeeze in 8 clients because they really want a therapy or a coaching business, are you rushing your results? Because ask yourself, are you really showing up again as your best self for all 8 people, or are the first 4 people getting the best of you and the last 4 people? Honestly, let's be real, they getting trash. They're not getting the full you. They're not getting who we met at 9 o'clock. Okay. So you got to look at your energy output and your mental load. Now, let's talk about boundaries that for me help protect my genius zone. So, as we just talked about time, I will cap how many coaching and or therapy type clients workshops I do back to back or in one day, and even in a week if I have a high peak week. I'm going to say something real right now. This is a mistake that I made in 2 areas of my life. One area was having live events. I would make the mistake, a learning experience of I would get home on a Wednesday out of town from either Vegas driving, flying, or coming from the East Coast. And I got the nerve to have a workshop, a CE workshop, or a one-on-one session with one of my clients, therapy or coaching on Friday. No, I need to give my body time to recoup. And so let's just say if I drove from Vegas, that's a 4 hour drive, but it's in the car. I've also been talking for 2 days at a live event. I've also not just been working for the live event. During the live event, I wake up early, we set up the room, we shut down the room, we hang out, we laugh, I go to sleep late, right? So there's a lot of things that go on. Don't let it be I fly out to New York from California. We're talking about a 5 hour flight plus the airport time, plus the drive from the airport time, plus the I need to let my body decompress time. Now, on the flip side of that, I've done that with personal activities where I front load my calendar Monday through Wednesday because a kid got a birthday on Friday and Saturday. Well, what happens? Last minute stuff comes up. I'm ripping and running to these stores. I'm putting together party favors. Things come up. And at the end of the day, what I've learned is to look at my calendar ahead of time so that I can show up at the highest level of my capacity and ability as an expert, as a mom or a CEO entrepreneur, on those particular seasons. So I'm going to honor my energy. I'm going to honor my productivity. I'm not going to stack things back to back when I look at my full week and say, this is a setup for a shutdown. That's a word right there, right? And I will also create hard stop times that are non-negotiable. Like I'm done working today at 1:30, and I do find myself picking up my phone for no reason, checking the email, picking up my phone for no reason, checking social media. I have automations that don't require me to be on all the time. Now, what I also want to share with you, or maybe bring to your awareness, is paying attention to the intuitive nudge called the inner voice. It's also what I call delegation awareness. So I have trained myself over time to slow down and pay attention to when I have like old school cartoons, the angel and the devil, like that inner voice saying, I shouldn't be doing this. And if I still do it, I need to tell myself in the moment, meaning I'm the only one in charge of that task in my business. Maybe my team member doesn't know how to do it yet. That may tell me I need to create a document for it or a Loom video for it that will then create the document for it. And I need to plan on delegating it like yesterday. Because if I don't have no business doing it and I don't slow myself down to create a plan to get it off my plate, I'm always going to have the excuse of, oh, I can't do X because I'm still doing X. While my team member is sitting there like, you can give it to me. So this is also sending a signal to your genius zone of what needs to be removed so that you can show up better in that genius zone, or asking yourself, if it's not delegated, can it be automated? So I want to wrap up by sharing with you more of like an uncut version of real numbers of what has happened in my business for the last 11 days. So over the last 11 days, I decided to come into a new year and double down on one overarching topic for my community. It's not that I didn't talk about it last year, but I just said, what if I only talked about that at least 90% of the time? Because I do have other things going on. So I decided to double down on social media. I wanted to play around with reels, carousels, and fine tune my stories where it's not just taking a picture of my drink going to the gym. Like I really wanted to add more value while also building a connection and a relationship with the community. But I also want to get in front of new people and I also want to feed the community I already have. So I doubled down in the last 11 days, and this was the outcome. I focused on my area of genius. I came into this new year saying, my area of genius is teaching. I know that. But how can that show up in the marketplace through social media that can build connection, build community, and also drive sales when I want to? And so I said, I was born on Instagram. Okay. Like Instagram is my stepping ground. I love podcasting. I love YouTube. But to get in front of more people faster, I want to leverage Instagram. And if people want to dive deeper, they can head over to the podcast and to YouTube. So that's what I did. I selected the topic and I started creating content. Now, these were the results. My reach had went all the way down from what it used to be in the over 6 digits. It went down to like 30,000 in December because I'm going to be real. I was not posting that much. I may do a story 2 times a week and then disappear. And it wasn't disappearing. I guess it was intentionally taking breaks. But what happens is the algorithm doesn't reward you when you take breaks because they want you to stay on there. So let's just say if my reach in the last 30 days was like 30,000. So when I looked at the last 30-day increase from what I had done in 11 days, my number had said 33,000 is where you started. Because of what you've done in the last 11 days, it has increased to 103,000. Now, that was the number that I looked up 2 days ago before I'm recording this. If I go into it now, let's see what the number is. It is 108.6 thousand. This is the amount of accounts that I have reached organically through social media. So I say that not that this is a social media talk, but just to show you the power of intentionally carving out time to focus on my genius zone. Yes, that resulted in sales every single day for digital products that I fine-tuned during my focus time in those early mornings. I hope that you can see how all these things are playing off one another. And this was all because I got very clear on, again, how I wanted to spend my days, my hours. For my business, I had one overarching message. I had the focus of a product suite all within one scope of business, which is clinical streams of income for therapists. Because in the past, I had only focused on digital products for certain seasons. And what that provided for me was less chaos, more impact, more peace, and of course, more revenue for my business. So I want you to take away from this that I really want you to operate in your genius zone, because what you will get out of it is a significant reward, and you can protect your time, you can protect your peace, you can protect your health, and you can also live a beautiful life. But you got to automate, delegate, and structure your time. So what you have coming up in part 3 is now I'm going to talk about the behind the scenes of delegating and automating. So I'm really going to walk you through what a regular week looks like for me and what are the things that I choose to delegate and what are some things that I choose to even do first myself and then delegate it. And then what are some things and systems that I use to automate it, because those are things that are going to lead us into talking about the ultimate. How do all these things play a role in you designing time off? So rest is part of your strategy for this year, and create hard stops for yourself to protect your time. Now, these topics for this month has been specifically curated for a challenge that we have in this community. So the Inner Collective is a community of women service-based entrepreneurs that work in the community, work from home, have 9-to-5 jobs, have a business, part-time, full-time. And the overarching goal for us is to design a life-first business with peace over pressure. So we have a collection of things that we do in our community. From certain months, we have daily affirmations that go out. That's my way of nudging you to let you know know that, hey, I want to motivate you today. They go out in the morning. We also have challenges throughout the year where what you're getting is a sneak peek into the challenge, but we have a reward system for them or certain things that we do. Like last month, we pulled one of them on the podcast and they paid it forward to our general YouTube and podcast community by talking about a particular topic. It's really fun. Sometimes they win prizes. Sometimes, as business owners, they win exposure. It just really depends on what the topic is for the challenge. And then we do, a reward system for you working on yourself. What we've realized over time is that there are more and more entrepreneurs that are going into the business space and they are really neglecting their mindset first. And honestly, they're neglecting themselves first because they're not even considering, like I did in part one of the series, your personal schedule, your life schedule, your family schedule, your I don't want to work during this week schedule. I want it to be my day, my CEO day without me having to take a full vacation day. Okay. And so if you want to be around women who can be your cheerleaders, who can be your motivators, and I can be your mentor and help you truly design a life first business that works for you with you in mind, I would highly recommend you check out the description box. Join us. We meet monthly. And we also this year started introducing how you can add tools and systems in your business that can help aid in you curating a beautiful life and leveraging your time. So if you are new here, I want to say welcome to our abundant community. If you are returning, I love to have you back. So everybody make sure that you subscribe. I love to see when you talk back to me in the comment box as well so that I can know that we are on target for giving you the information that you need to grow this year. Y'all, I will see y'all in part 3. But if you haven't watched part 1, go ahead and do that now.